Right, morning guys. So, back here again, about ready to paint, but I've got some fine line tape. It's not the blue stuff like I wanted, but that's what Dad had. So I'm just going to put it a little bit around the edge of where I've masked there, just lay it back over top and try and get it so I can see if I can get a clean line around there. I don't want to pull everything off, but I'll just see if I can clean that edge up a little bit, make it so it's a little bit more fluid instead of all the little bits of tape over top of each other. So try and get that sorted. Give everything a wipe down, double check, make sure there's nothing else. I want to have a little bit more of sand on these 4 parts, and I'm just going to give this one more wee rub over with some 600, and then I'll prep wipe it and spray it. It's about 20 degrees, so it's pretty reasonable, and it's slowly getting warmer. It's going to be one of those funny days. I think it's going to shit itself wet later on, but at the moment the temp's good. So yeah, hopefully in about an hour, by the time I fluff around, get myself fully sorted out, we should be right. I'll get some paint on this fucking thing. As long as I don't have any issues with spray guns, I'll be fine. So yeah, I'll get this on. Other thing I'm going to do too, once I get this black on, I'm going to suss out the next question for this quiz thing. Now that I've got this out of my hair, I've actually got 3. I just put one. I put a video up late last night. I've got another one edited and rendered, and I've got about 10 minutes of footage to go through for another one, and then this here will be a new one. So this will be 153, I think it is. So yeah, unfortunately it's a couple of videos before so I can get to this, but it's kind of just how it worked with everything. Or maybe I need to freaking edit shit a bit harder, I don't know. But yeah, I go through and I chop chunks out in bits and pieces and squeeze it up. Sometimes I'll repeat myself and I'll waffle on about something like halfway through a conversation that I've already said, you know, earlier in the video, so I'll cut that piece out and just shorten it up. Sometimes that's why it's a bit, you know, I'll try and get it so it blends halfway reasonably well, but I might be in the middle of a conversation and talk about something I've already been talking about. But it is what it is at the time, but sometimes I just cut it out. You know, might be a 5-minute section about me waffling about something that I've already repeated, you know, earlier in the video. I might have been 2 days beforehand, so I just try and cut that piece out. Anyway, I'll get this on, have a final rub back, wipe down with some prep and whatever, and get some freaking colour on the shit. So I'll see you shortly-ish, which will probably be when I'm about ready to paint. Right, I've just done this like I've only just talked to you a couple of months ago, but I thought I'd just show you this. So this is what I've done with this tape. I've just sneaked it inside the line where I was before, just very, very slightly. Basically covering the edge of that, and just, you know, like, I don't know, a 32nd of an inch or a millimetre sort of type thing, if that, just running it over the edge of where I've already masked off. So that's going to work out nice, and it's just going to be give me a nice clean line there, and it's not, you know, jumpy. So this is what I wanted to do, so I'll carry on to do that, and we'll get ourselves sorted. And we'll see you shortly. Right, I'm suspicious, just light screwing me up, I think. Shadows from the door, like it's too dark. Cause I just couldn't get this to lay flat. I did for a start off, but when you start losing with your dry and wet edges, because it just, it's so dark and a dark colour, it just made it awkward. I obviously need more lights. That's why Paint Boot's got so many frickin' lights in. Well, they haven't turned out too bad. They're going to get wet sanded. This I might get away with. It's pretty frickin' glossy. I got it. This is pretty frickin' good, and it's not terribly. It's warm white. It's not bad. And I think the body, I don't think I'll have to worry about. Up here, I think we'll just mask it out. We'll really better see what it looks like when I pull the tape off. So we'll let that cure off for, I don't know, an hour or two. Just let it harden the paint up, and then we'll pull it off. Just let that cure. So that's cool. That's got 4 coats on it. Everything else has got 4 coats on it. I had a little bit left in my gun, and when I opened the door, I could see that edge wasn't very, the outside part of that valance wasn't very even, so I poured a bit more on it, but no, it should be right. We'll just wet sand it and buff it out. Yeah, I think that's part of my problem too, is when I got the doors down to try and stop wind and shit from outside, it's almost too dark. Like it's not too bad, like you can see that first coat, but when you start getting that second coat on there, and you're trying to chase your wet edge, because I started spraying it, it's just sections to try and see if I could get it to flay down better, but then I was missing the wet edge all the time, and I was ending up with like little dry spots in between. This wasn't quite so bad because it's more underneath the lights, but that one there, because it was near the door, it's just that little bit darker, harder to see. And this body wasn't too bad because you got a wee bit more natural light from the skylight, well, that clear light in the back of the wall. So that's not so bad. And over this side, you get the lights from the thing, just makes it a little bit brighter. But yeah, the body's pretty good. Like I'm just going to have to, when we buff it out and whatever, I'll just mask that up, But that'll be a few days down the line before we even freaking think about buffing that up. Or we'll start getting, shit sorted, get it wet sanded. I didn't worry about blowing in there, obviously. I'll do that at some other point. I'm still going to have to do one underneath these anyway, so we can mask that out. See if we can organise to try and get all the shit upside down somehow, except this thing here. I'll just have to blow like a couple of light bits around the back of it, but I've got around the edge piece because it was easy to do, so I did it while I was pouring it on. So yeah, I'm pretty happy how that friggin'. If I could have got everything laid out like that, I would have frickin' left it. But anyway, I think it's pretty good. It's not too bad. Yeah, it's a little bit orange peely in there, but yeah, should be right. She'll be right. We'll get her sorted. Yeah, because I tried to lay this out too that way the last time to try and see if we could get it a bit more even, a bit more laid out flat. But again, probably just the darkness just wasn't helping me. But I can't blame that. Really, it does not helping. It's not helping. So anyway, I'll have a check see what the time is. I'll clean my gun out and yeah, I don't know what I was going to say after that, because I went to turn the phone around, the missus rang, and she talked to me for a couple of minutes. She's got to go frickin' back to the doctor's. Her knee and her leg's giving her frickin' a lot of pain still. She's going to have to go in for the surgery, I think. But yeah, it's going to be a while before she can go see them, or before they go for the surgery. But yeah, frickin' Lee's giving her quite a bit of problems in her bottom of her calf. Keeps cramping, and then the back of her knee keeps cramping. So it's not helping her. But she's fucking always on her feet too, so it doesn't fucking help. She just can't help herself. But anyway, yeah, apart from that, I can't remember what the frick I was going to say. I was going to say tell you something, but I don't know. It'll come to me later on. But yeah, I'll get my gun cleaned out. And yeah, leave this shit for a while. Well, yeah, I might even head home for an hour or something and just leave the shit alone. Otherwise, I'll be tempted to touch it, especially the masking tape. I just want to leave that for a couple of hours, just to give it a good chance to harden up. You know, like I know it's touch dry within a few minutes, but you know, you don't want to accidentally lean on it when it's really green and leave a mark in it. I'd rather just leave it alone for a couple of 3 hours and then demask it. So yeah, I might shoot home. I think it's about 10:45 or something like that. Just leave it alone for a while. And just pop back down here about 1. Yeah, and then Mrs. wants to go to the doctor's about 2:30, so I'll just pop down and demask that, and I'll probably pop home again. Oh, I know. I'll have a quick look at my book and work out this frickin' quiz. Actually, I'll tell you the answer. The answer for the quiz was I was going over there to lay concrete in Australia. And I'm not sure, I know there's one. I'll have to double check all the answers. Yeah, have to double check all the answers and just see if there's anybody else. There's all sorts of freaking different answers, and I think there might have been somebody else that said about the concrete laying, but I can't remember. But yeah, the one person that did say about it, that's my mate over in Western Australia. And he hasn't commented on anybody out on any other freaking quizzes, just except this one. Cheeky bugger. Anyway, how you going, Geordie? So yeah, I will have a quick look at my book. I might check some of the answers on those things, clean my gun out, and yeah, I'll come back to you with my next quiz, and I'll work out what I'm going to do. All right, talk to you in a minute, or 3 or 10. Righty, so yeah, on that quiz thing, so yeah, it was only my mate Geordie over in Western Australia that used to kick around with as younger guys. They went over, him and my cousin, went over there in 98 or something like that, and they've been there pretty much ever since. But anyway, so he was the only one that got the concreting job right, hence because he probably knew, but that wouldn't have helped. But anyway, when I was a kid, Dad owned a business, and then I actually worked for him for a couple of years as a younger adult, I suppose, like that. What would have been 21ish, 22. Worked for him for a couple of years. So what was that business that Dad had? So was it either a mechanical workshop, or an auto dismantling yard, or an engineering firm shop? So see if you can guess that one. So yeah, I've mentioned it quite a lot. I think over time, I've mentioned it quite a few times. So like I was Dad in his later years, he was doing restoration work on trucks and stuff like that for the big truck museum here. But before that, from I think 82 or 83, right through to about 99ish, he owned a business, and yeah, I helped him as a kid all the way through school when I was off on school holidays a lot, and then I spent a couple of years working for him until went on and done other things. So yeah, what was that business? So yeah, mechanical workshop, like as in fixing cars and all that sort of stuff all the time, or a dismantling yard, or a engineering type shop. So let me know what you think that one was. I'm starting to actually struggle running out of ideas. I have to keep working on it. Anyway, we'll keep it going for another couple of weeks. See how we get on. This one's stretched out for 2, because I've been so busy doing other shit, or concentrating on this stuff. So anyway, I'm going to bugger off. I'll shoot back about 1, see how we're going. See, that's drying off, but I just don't want to leave marks in it when I'm pulling tape off. If I happen to lean on something, because it's such a small area, it'll be show like dog sports. I don't want to have to polish it, especially on the body. If I can get away with that, I can just tape it out and buff around it, buff up to that edge and shit, so it should be really nice. Hopefully it comes out good when I pull the tape off. So yeah, anyway, all kit loads on. Yeah, so that'll keep your brain ticking for a bit. And no, Geordie can't answer it. I refuse to delete you. No, just kidding. We'll see if anybody else can get it right. Anyway, we'll catch you later on. Sweet. Sweet. Alrighty, so that's what it looks like. I think that'll look quite good once everything else is on there. Like the there's little lights going here that are black. All that sort of stuff, you know, by the time you get everything on there and the caps on the top and all that sort of shit, it'll look fucking wicked. Pretty wrapped with that. I wish the doors were a little bit more level, but you know, you can only fight it so much to try and get it right, if you know what I mean. And this wooden bloody thing's just fought me all the way, so it's as good as they're going to get. You know, like I didn't make the front door and I didn't make that door. I didn't make that one, I made that one. But I think by the time this is buffed up and everything like that, it'll look absolutely shit hot. That's awesome. So you can see what I did here, hopefully. So I masked it up around here and just try and stop any overspray getting there. Might have to just, you know, give that a little rub or polish or whatever. I tried to do the same here. So it finished on this edge. So in here was blue, but it just snuck around the edge. And I did that on everything. Yeah, just so that, like, it's not the blue comes up to the edge and then stops. So yeah, I tried to do that with everything to get it nice and even. But I think that looks pretty good by the time it's all cleaned up and buffed up and whatever. Like really the only edge that you're going to really see is this one kinda, and it's going to be half covered by that frickin' windscreen post. So it's only going to be really that little piece around there that will show an actually edge in the paint. Everything else up underneath is, unless you're frickin' going to stand on your head and be 2 inches away from it. It's a really good place to hide a body cut, you know, a change for a little bit of colourful difference on there. So that's cool, awesome. That's about all I'm going to do this afternoon. I'll slam a few more videos together, see how we get on. But yeah, that's it unmasked. I'll clean that up later, put it in the bin. This is all I really wanted to do. I was going to do more, but since the missus has got to go to the doctors and all that sort of crap, all that sort of crap. So yeah, I just wanted to come down here and get that off, not leave it on there very long. You know, a couple of 3 hours, as long as it's going off, you know, unless it was really cold, you know, you might leave it longer, but you're not normally painting. We'll try not to paint in cool temperatures. You know, turn a heater on, or, you know, warm the shop up somehow. Get the temperature up, get the panels up and spray, and you should be pretty good. But yeah, that's cool. That's going to look freaking awesome. We'll leave that alone now, and yeah, I'll mask it off when I start finishing all this shit. But yeah, at least, you know, it's not too bad a line around there. It's not quite as neat and tight as when I put that thin line on there. It must have been just sitting up in a couple of little areas. The other side's better. But that is, you know, again, it is what it is. You try and do, you know, everything you can. Like, I probably could have pulled the tape off and remasked it, but it's pretty good. By the time we, you know, finish wet sanding this and buff it and whatever, I think any little funny, maybe little bits on the edge will disappear. There's actually not much of a lip there as it is. That's not bad. I can feel it a little bit, but it's not bad for just that little piece. You know, windscreen post comes here, so you're not going to see 90% of this. It's just going to be this little piece around here until it tucks back up underneath that. So it's forwarded as it's freaking so small, it's not worth it. You know, in an ideal situation, you know, if you're on base coat, clear coat, you would have put that on there, put that on there, and then smash the whole clear over it, and it would have flowed out. You know, but that's a solid colour. So she's cool, all good. Freaking sticky and freaking sweaty here at mum. Stupid freaking weather. I shouldn't complain about the heat, but oh, sure. This looks good. Pretty great with this. It's actually not bad on the inside too. It's got quite a nice. I just want to be careful. It will be still soft, but it'll be quite nice to get these turned over and get the rest of it with just a couple of light coats over like that and seal it up. Get these all turned over and see if we can get these at the same time. We'll try to anyway. Sort out something, lice and, I don't know, work it out. See if I can get the whole lot at once. I might be able to double stack some of this shit maybe. Not quite sure how I'm going to do it, but to blow a coat on the inside. So, it's cool. We'll carry on. I'll stop waffling. Shut up, Glenn. Morning, guys. So welcome back to NZ Mopar Outlaw Customs. New video. I don't know. I struggle with this fucking editing shit at the moment. They got too much going on. And too many other people wanting to use a freaking computer like a 10-year-old kid. Right, so the plan today, I was going to flip all this stuff upside down and try and get the fenders or mud guards hung up or upside down. And I'm going to mask up the back of the body for the wheel ups. So get a couple of coats on the insides of the stuff so it's finished and done with, apart from obviously a wet sand and a buff. Get that shit sorted, so once I've done that, I can probably get rid of the plastic off this fucking chassis. And there's a little bit some touch-ups on there, I know. I know there's going to be some touch-ups on that, because of fucking just doing body work on that. I know I've touched the frame in a few places, but it's no biggie. I'll get the frame a bit right down, we can touch it up at some point. So apart from that, I've got to get those wheel hub cloth stuff cleaned up in the cabinet so we can get that painted. We need to get some bolts sorted for those wheels. We need 48 new bolts. So we're going to have to do some inquiries. We've had a quick scout around some of the places in town. There's nothing close to what they're meant to be, just because of the nature of the beast. yeah, there's nothing available. So we have to do some inquiries, see if they're available in the States, see if there's something around, or whether they, that can be made, or, whether there's something, maybe they might have used that style of bolt for, Fords and Chevs and all that sort of bullshit over in the States, and they're really available, because we need 48 of them. The clutch and the flywheel and the pressure plate are all way being treated and looked after. The other thing we're going to do shortly, once we get this stuff cleaned up, obviously we're going to start putting shit back in this car, and obviously we're going to get this buff, but I'm not going to touch the flywheel. I think we'll just leave the flywheel as it is. May just give it a light wet sand with, and then just hand polish it or something like that. But yeah, you'll see, because I really want to get the motor and the transmission back in. So the trans needs stripped down, like there's no synchros or anything in the gearbox, just way before that stuff. So it needs a really good clean, make sure there's no crap on the surfaces and the mating surfaces of the gears, and it needs a fresh set of bearings and gaskets and painted and ready to put in. Motor needs just the head pulled off it and checked out. Need to find some nuts there, the rest of the head studs, and obviously if there's anything that needs attention, I'll get Dad down here to help me, because he knows so much more about that old side valve stuff that I have no clues about. Like a motor's a motor, I would figure it out, but he's retired half the time, not doing it. Like he's doing all the bits and pieces he does, but he's quite happy to come down here and give me a hand. And if we need to tackle that in any way, shape or form, we can get that sorted. Also, we're going to get the carburetor together and lots of stuff. So I need to see if I can find the footage that I did with that and just work out the way it goes back together again. I'll see if we got, which I might have a look through that PDF and see if there's anything on that, but also I might get hold of Dave and see if he's maybe send me some scans of maybe if there's anything in the workshop manual about the carburetor stuff. But I've got footage, but I think in my dumbass wisdom I had to clean out of some of the older footage because I was running out of space on the computer. Like I kept some stuff but not everything, and I've fucking got a sneaking suspicion the raw footage of me stripping that down before I sped it up, I think I've fucking deleted it, which is fucking dumb, because I would have just followed it backwards. So you've got to get the gearbox sorted, that sorted, the wheels and stuff sorted, the clutch and that's been rebuilt, and obviously the flywheel's been surfaced and the pressure plate will be checked and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's kind of where we're at. So yeah, I'll get these painted and underneath, get the wheel arches painted, I'll just mask that out, paint it, and then we can probably get rid of the plastic of the fucking road. Yeah, I mean, at least when this stuff's ready to go on, we can put it back on and be done with it. Oh, we're going to get new wheel, the Alpha wheel rims 2 remade. He wants to get them remade because they've been patched up and repaired at different points. So he's going to try and get them. There's a place up in Christchurch that redoes or remake wheels. You see them at Pat and they'll remake them. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I'll get to it and get this stuff sorted, turned over, try and get all the fenders turned up, over or hung up or whatever, and we'll get a couple of coats on the inside of them. Oh, the other thing too, I want to try and get because I'm going to be obviously doing wood grain effects and I've got a lot of other small stuff to paint. I think there's not much point trying to paint small stuff with a big gun for painting the car. I want to get myself a mini gun. I just think it'd be really handy for doing all that smaller stuff. So obviously you haven't got such a big fan. Like you can close the fan down on a big gun, but if you've got a mini gun, you can have a nice little fan, or not so big fan, and obviously a smaller fluid tip, so you get a little bit more control of how much paint's going on. You know, you can get your fan and your fluid ratio smaller, so you're not pouring so much on, and easier to paint with, I guess. You know, good for painting wheels and whatever. So I want to get myself an A&I, I'm not sure if it's an R150 or an R160 they call it now. They've done a revision there a couple of years ago, I think, which is like the gun I got in 2015 or whatever it was, which is the A&I F150, which is the gun that I would have really been like to be painting this stuff with, which is a really nice gun. They spray really well for the cost of them. They've got a little brother, which is, they've had a revision since then, and they're probably one of the best miniguns for the money compared with a really expensive one. Like they're bloody near the same level as an expensive one, but only like a couple $100, and they come with quite a lot of fluid tip sizes. Like I think probably like a 1mm or something like that would be not really handy. And you know, you've only got a small paint pot. You know, you're not having to mix up heaps. Well, you know, if you only want to mix up a little bit of paint, you know, haven't got just like a little piece in the bottom of your paint pot, you know what I mean? Like it's a whole smaller, easier to control, smaller fan, less paint coming out, you know, than like a 1.3 or a 1.4 that you're trying to get to close down to paint little stuff. So, yeah, less wastage, all that sort of shit. Anyway, we'll get the stuff all sorted. So yeah, I'd like to get that and myself another gun and a 2.5mm fluid tip for that primer gun. But anyway, we'll get shit sorted and we'll get some paint on the insides of these parts. So they're done and finished. Righty, so I've almost got everything sorted. Got everything turned upside down. So you can see here, hopefully you can see here yesterday where I sprayed the part of the inside of this but didn't really get anything else. I kind of flicked it in here but not really. So you can see that like there's, that looks quite good like that, you know, with a nice bit of shiny paint on there. Yeah, it probably needs another flick in spots, but it's going to look at least nice and clean and tidy, and it's nice and sealed up, you know. So we'll get all this inside of everything else done. I've tried to hang these the best I can because like these take up so much bloody room. I thought I might have been able to get, I probably could have got one of those and one of these on a stand, but I was worried about, you know, like even though we're going to wet sand these and polish it, like I'll try not to get, you know, overspray on the outer panel. Within reason, you know, like a little bit's not going to hurt it because they're quite dusty anyway. That's why I haven't cleaned the outside or the outside of them up. So we'll give these a good blow down and a quick wipe and whatever, get rid of the cobwebs and shit because they're full of fucking cobwebs, some of them. Not too bad, that one there especially. But yeah, like at least I should better get in here and give these a decent coat. And obviously these here, and I'm just about finished. I've masked one side, I'm about to finish masking this side. So like I'm not worried about getting dead to the exact edge because like when the fin is bolted in there, it covers what I'm probably going to miss anyway. And it's already got paint in there. You know, it's already got the blue. So if there's like a little bit of blue up to the edge that's missed, when the fin is bolted on, you don't fucking see it anyway. And if there is any little bits and pieces, like when I bolt the fin on, I can see it. I can just get a little bit of, even if it's a little bit of rattle can or something in there, and just touch up with, if it's missed. For all it's going to matter when it's assembled, you're not going to see in there, you're not going to be, you know, somebody's going to have to be pretty fussy to look up in there, you know, to see. So yeah, this is what I've done on this side. Again, you know, like I've tried to get it reasonably close to the edge. I might cut some of this away if you know what I mean, but I'm not too panicked if I don't get right up to the edge, but I've just pushed it down. And you know, we can flick it in there and it'll get the worst of it anyway. I just didn't want to get stupid fussy and spend freaking ads and ads and ads when all I'm going to do is just put a little bit of protection on there. Like a half that's done blue on the edge anyway. I just flicked that shit back over it the other day just to try and make that look like a little bit like the Halfass stuff, but not that it's going to matter because the part of it's different anyway. And I'm not going to recoat the insides of those other bits. I just did that because it was easy and it was there. So I'll finish the masking this out. I'll get some paint mixed up. It's about 18 degrees in here. It's coolish today, but it's not going to matter for this shit. I'm not panicked about it. I'm not worried about it laying down perfect or anything like that. We're just going to get it painted and sealed up, and it'll still cure off. It's not as though you're trying to get a nice glass finish or anything like the rest of it was. Trying to get it, decent on there nicely, the best I could anyway. So yeah, we'll get a couple of coats in these, and this will be this shit done, which will be bloody handy. So yeah, the old local rag comes in handy occasionally. As much as plastic and all that sort of shit, you can just whip around there and frickin' put a bit of tape on it. This didn't cost me anything, so you just use it. It's pretty much all I've ever used, masking stuff out over the years. Newspaper or whatever. Like, it's not as easy, it's not as regularly available as it used to be. Frickin' yeah, that's changed over the last few years. You can just read everything online nowadays, but there's still a bit of a local rag that flicks around in most places. So yeah, we'll get that piece masked up, and we'll finish masking up, and we'll mix a bit of colour, and we'll flick around. A couple of coats in these, and that should be plenty, I reckon. It's all it needs, just enough to one to frickin' half seal it, and the other one to frickin' finish it off. So yeah, it'll do. Right, we'll come back to you shortly. Alright, so I finished spraying, clean up the spray gun, and clean the fucking glasses, because every time I spray they get, after a couple of times, they get really fucking bad and I can't see through them. So I actually polish them with car paint, with car polish. Get over fucking spray off them, so I don't think it seems to remove it. So I'll pull this tape off shortly, But everything else has had a bloody good couple of freaking, probably actually 3 coats probably. Not that I wanted to put 3 coats in there, but it's kind of what happened. So I run out close to doing the last few pieces, and I was having problems with that fucking. I'm going to fucking smash that gum until I get something else to use. Oh, I hate it. It pisses me off. I don't know why. But anyway. So yeah, these are all coated. The stuff with this texture coat looks quite good. The stuff doesn't look too bad, but it's a bit. It's obviously soaked because it hasn't gone on the same. It's sort of fun. It looks funny, but it's fucking. It is what it is. You're not going to be looking underneath there. It's sealed up, so that's cool. That's that done. I'll pull this masking off in another few minutes. Like I'm not worried about touching it, as long as it's dryish. I'll pull it off. Like it's not like this where I'm worried about the finish. It's in a well arch. Not too stressed about it. So I'll pull that off in a minute. And then I'll just check see what the time is. I'm not 100% sure what the time is. And I'll just leave this shit for a while. I don't want to create too much dust and crap in here. It should be alright, but we'll see what the time is. Bugger off and then come back. Just let it cure. At least then I can, once it's cured for an hour or two, I can move it up the frickin' road. If I want to do something else, if you know what I mean. And then we'll look at these front hubs and rear hubs. All the other parts are gone away to the sandblaster, so you can do them. But I'll do the other pieces. At least I know, not that I'm done right, but at least I know that what I'll be doing is not going to damage them for nothing. So yeah, anyway. Yeah, I'll pour this stuff on for a couple of months and I'll give you another quick. There's freaking anything to see there anyway, but you'd see what it is, but yeah. That'll do in the meantime, I guess. Yeah, sweet, perfect. Yeah, that'll work. If there is any like little bits of paint that'll sneak around onto the blue strips by the time we give it a get down to 3,000 and buff it out, it'll be going anyway. But that looks way better. Nice clean edge. It's it's pretty much right up in the edges. So yeah, perfect. Outside looks the same. So yeah, awesome. Done burger. Alright, so just got back here after lunch. So this is quite a nice texture. I can imagine this would be quite easy to clean underneath, where the stuff that I sprayed like this, okay, where I've got plenty of coats on it, because there was a few spots where I sprayed, obviously when we did the initial spray, there was some extra got in and underneath there when we sort of flicked shit around, but some of it's quite rough, but it should still clean it. It should still clean it right and be alright. May have to put another couple of coats over this just to try and get it to. There's places where it's got quite a bit of build up on it, and that's quite smooth again, but I think it'll be alright. It'll be alright. Anyway, so I'll turn the camera on. Have a quick yarn. Righty, so I actually had somebody message me through Messenger. It was actually a local guy from, localish guy, one of the panel shops, saying, if you break a piece of body file off, you can use it to scrape runs off for you. That's all good. I don't have a spare one. I've got two, and I don't really want to break one for scraping runs off, because I said, if you break a piece of bottle file off, you can scrape the runs off with clear. It's all good. Razor blade works fine too. But yeah, there's no clear in this thing. Probably a lot of you have worked out that it's just single stage, single stage. I don't know if he's been watching stuff on Instagram or Facebook, or whether he's actually watching YouTube. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to double check his messages. But yes, no clear coat in this fucking thing. It's 2-pack single stage industrial paint, truck paint, you know, some normal outside bodies of trucks and stuff like that. So it is still very shiny and all that sort of shit, but like, cars back in the 20s didn't have clear on them, so we're trying to do a restoration with modern paints like they would have done it back then. Like it would have been just single stage, I don't know what it would have been, enamel or frickin' whatever. You know, we don't want to use enamel because that's just a fucking pain in the ass. It takes fucking 3 days to dry. Well, that's the shit. So they might have had other paints back then too, I'm not sure. I don't really know the history of paint too much, but 2-pack single stage is, you know, and non-metallic is basically what's on that. It's going to look like it would have, you know, but it's way better quality paint. It's going to last longer and all that sort of stuff, in theory, you know. Enamel's pretty robust, eh? It can fucking last for years. You just keep polishing it and polishing it and polishing it until it polishes off. That could be the same, but you know. So anyway, yeah. I like the idea, you know, breaking a bit of body file off, if you're not sure what I mean. Yeah, I'll get some new ones at some point, but yeah, like he was talking about breaking a bit of this off, snapping it off, breaking off, whatever, and using it to knock the clear off. Well, yeah, it's cool. Not a bad tip. Not something I'd thought of. You know, I thought, you know, instead of breaking something like this up, unless, you know, if I had a fucking heap of them and I was using body files and shit all the time, you know, I'm just getting into doing this all the time. You know, you're gonna wear stuff out. So if I had a, you know, if I went and go buy a couple of fresh ones, yeah, I wouldn't mind breaking one, but I don't have that luxury at the moment. Break it off, but good tip, you know, I'll remember that. But yeah, just not ideal at the moment. The razor blade works fine, you know, you can scrape the worst of the runoff, you know, whether it's clear or straight colour, single stage, or whatever it is, you know, you can knock it off and wet sand it out to 3000 and buff it, and where you go. So that's what I'm doing. So now I'm going to get those hubs in here and put them in the sandblasting cabinet, screw my air pusher up and clean them up. See how they get on, and go from there, I think. I'll just leave that stuff on the stands for a while. That doesn't matter, I'll shift them tomorrow. Let that stuff cure up properly, just in case it happens to be a bit soft on the edge or something like that, and sitting on carpet, something gets stuck in it, and you're better off to sit like that. It's fine like that for another 12 hours. Move it all out of the road in the morning. And I shouldn't really have to use panel stands too much anyway in the next wee while. It'll be just the other bits and pieces as we get to do stuff. I'll either have to hang it or put it on something, but yeah. Anyway, I'll get sandblasting, I guess. Get these front and rear hubs cleaned up and see what we get from there. Probably have to knock the bit. Yeah, I'll have to knock the bearings out. I'll knock the shells out in the meantime. Or will I? Yeah, no, I'll have to knock them out first. But anyway, we'll see it at some point in the future. Righty, so I'm in the middle of cleaning up these hub bits. I've given these a quick sandblast. I'm going to give them a bit of a wipe over with one of those wire brushes, and it's left one of those poly discs. Let's see how well these clean up. Because probably not really going to put paint on the side, but I will still etch it. I think because it's going to be against the wheel, against the wood and all that sort of shit. Whatever paint gets put on there, once it's all clamped and screwed together, it's probably going to get frickin' screwed around and bust off anyway. So I don't think there's much point putting paint in there. I wouldn't have thought. It's a bit of a hard one, but I think with a decent coat of etch or something like that, at least it's got some sort of protection on there. And also just paint the outside of it. But, so obviously there's no wheel bearings in there, that's on the axle. So that's one of the axle bearings. Now I'm just, these are the front wheel bearings. So I've got the races out of the hub. I've still got the hub in there soaking, trying to get freaking the rest of the guns and shit out of it. Now this is the back back axle bearing holder. And I'm sitting there going, how the frick do you get the race out of that? And then it dawned on me, this is probably a separate, because they got like a pressed steel thing like it's in the back of, pull it out, but in the back of this, it's got like a little steel piece that goes in there for the axle seal, which is felt, right? They didn't have the rubber seals like we do nowadays. So a bit like in there, that's like a felt seal. So I'm wondering if I clean it, because this is not the one off the car. The one off the car is still in there with the axles in it. I'm just trying to get samples so I can get some bearings while we're in amongst doing wheel shit. So I'm going to dig in here and see whether there's some way that this seal holder for the felt comes out and then allows me to obviously push that tapered shell out of there, because I can't see how the hell to frickin' get it out. Otherwise it's going to be a bit of a bitch of a thing. Right, the only thing I can think of is maybe it's this piece here. There's another piece, you know, and the felt thing comes out. I'm going to have a real good dig and clean up in here and see whether there's a maybe a spring clip or something like that that holds that retainer in there for the felt seal with. Maybe, I don't know. I have to have a look, because I can't imagine that, because that's otherwise going to be a bitch to get out. Not so bad getting it in, it's getting it out. Alright, anyway, I'll have a play here to have a clean up, see if I can figure this out. And because I think there is a clip in there actually. Have a look at this one. It's not, what am I doing? Have a look at this one, because I think there's a fucking clip in there. So that should come out. That should come out. And the only reason why I haven't painted these, because I knew I had to strip them down to put new shells and stuff in there. And I'll paint that paint that all once apart, or paint it, mask it off and paint it once I've got the new shell and everything in there. So yeah, I'll get this apart and I'll see if I can get that shell there for a sample anyway. And come back to you. Alright, so that's that one. I was trying to pick and pry it out and I wasn't sure. I knew this one here had been apart. But that doesn't help me. It doesn't really help me at all. Why they didn't fucking have you know, like a notch in there like a modern one would. If I can get a modern seal to go in there, I might even die grind a piece out of that. So we can get this fucking seal out of here. Tapered frickin'. It's going to be a bitch to get out though. To frickin' get in there on an angle. That's a bit of a dumb idea, isn't it? Bit of a dumb idea indeed. Alright. Yeah. This is like a little pulley you can put in there. That'd be a frickin' weird, wouldn't it? Trying to push on this and pull that out. Sounds like a bit of a frickin' cockeyed sandwich if you ask me. But anyway, we'll see if we can get it out and get it out of this one anyway. So at least this one's okay. I've got 2 spears if need be. Right, let's see if we can get this out. How this works, I'm not really sure. I'm going to try. So what I've done, because this is such a prick of a thing to get out, I've wound a little bit of plate in there. All I wanted out is so I can measure the outside diameter of that shell and take it into obviously the bearing place and see if we can get some bearings to fit this rear end and obviously the front. because I haven't really got the gear to try and pull that, because it's got no notch in here that you can bang on the back of it. And there's very, very little ridge on the back of it, so I want to see if we can at least push it out. That bit of plate welded in there. Can only try that. So wherever we play, see if it'll move. I'm just trying to see if I can catch the edge of this bearing friggin' housing. Might be better off to actually frickin' really poke my head down there and have a look. I'm hoping I'm clearing with that, you know, just catching the edge of it. Hoping it might be right, but no, I've got a bit of paint on it and find out, eh? There we go. Away. I think that worked. I wouldn't say it was the ideal way to get this out, but it worked. And sometimes it's just what you have to do. Like, I'll see if I can devise a better way to get this out later on the other proper ones, if you know what I mean, like the ones that we're actually going to use. Not that you couldn't use this, if you know what I mean. Like, it's going to work. So if we have to weld the other bearing shell out and put a plate in there, well, it is what it is, you know what I mean. So that's cool. At least I've got that and that out. So at least we can measure that properly now. And see if we can organise some axle bearings and some wheel bearings. That's cool. I might drop one of the other ones around Dad and just see if he maybe can better get it out. Otherwise I'll just do the same thing. You know, I'll get a bit of plate, or just even grind that bit of plate off there and jam it in another one, you know, and weld it out as well. Worked, so. No harm, no foul, eh? Sometimes it's just what you got to do. Shitty design. Like the front ones, the front wheel bearing hubs, because it's pressed, they've just pressed some big notches in there, and it worked. You know, you could just about drive a freaking, you know, 1/2 inch punch down in between the little nodules and get it out. No worries at all, both sides. Really easy, but that frickin' thing, no way. Right, so Arco just asked me to do a bit of a video on this motor for this thing, or engine. So the distributor goes in here, sticks up obviously, cap and everything, and then it goes to these leads, so 6 plugs. That's your generator, water pump, then it runs through to here, and there's a pulley, goes from here up to the fan, there's your exhaust manifold, and it just dumps out there and goes back. It's an updraft carburetor, and that's where you started, goes in. So it's a flathead side valve, 6, and all the carburetor linkages go. Well, obviously, if it was in America, it would just run straight to here, and the linkages would be all on this side, but because it's right-hand drive, it goes around to here, and there's a crazy linkage system that goes through to the pedals and up the steering column off this side, you know, through here, and then runs around the other side through this. Actually, some linkages that runs back through here to the carburetor. Obviously, the carburetor is where are we? Oh, I've got it freaking over here somewhere. What did I do with that? I shifted it all the other day. Oh, it doesn't matter anyway. I shifted it all so it was all out of the road when I was having to clean up. What did I do with that? Oh, over here I think. Yeah. Carburetor and the fan in there. I've got to reassemble obviously all that shortly to get the motor in. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, updraft, exhaust manifold. Yeah, fan comes, pulley for fan goes through here, and the fan blade. Yeah, water pump, distributor, generator, If you turn the dipstick, so you pull it up, it checks the oil. If you turn it, it drains the oil. So you gotta be careful of that. You don't freaking frig around with the wrong thing. So yeah, it's got this linkage here that goes onto here. That runs through to through your carburetor out the other side. Obviously, because it's right-hand drive, not left-hand drive. So yeah, that's pretty much that in a nutshell. Righty, so I'm going to leave it here for the day. I'm going to go see if we can get some wheel bearings for this thing. So obviously when we put it back together, we can put everything together. And obviously when we put the wheels together, we can put all the races in and stuff like that. So that's pretty much where I'm at the moment. Not sure where the end of this video is. I'm getting it done, but I'm so many days behind, it's freaking hard to catch up. So yeah. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. So you've got all that stuff down. I've lifted the rear fenders down because I didn't want them hanging up just in case they fell off. I was about to bump one off anyway. So yeah, we've got those shells out. So at least we can get something measured up and try and get something. Still got to try and work out where we're going to get some bolts from. These things here, so they got a lot of square. They're like a coach bolt, but yeah, these have all been freaking cut off and broken off and whatever else, and you know, they're 100 years old, so I imagine they'll be stretched and all sorts of ugly things like that. You know, guarantee you if you got them cleaned up, even though we're going to have to replace some, if you got them cleaned up and reuse them, you know, you never know when one's going to break or anything like that, so if we can get some new ones, it'd be the best. Anyway, I'll go see if I can find some wheel bearings and we'll see you in the morning.